Howdy folks, and welcome to the Hillbilly Kitchen. Today we're baking a Kool-Aid pie. Now here is your money-saving tip for the decade. Instead of buying the carbonated, sugary sodas, pops, cokes, colas, whatever you call them, and bottled sports drinks and all that stuff, dust off that old Kool-Aid jug and buy some Kool-Aid. I would guess that you would save at least 90% of your beverage budget if you bought Kool-Aid instead of carbonated beverages or sports drinks. 90% savings with Kool-Aid. And it got us through our childhood and our kids through. So at least 2 or 3 generations now have been living off of Kool-Aid, and we survived just fine. There's an endless variety of flavors, far more flavors than there were when we were kids. But anyway, and it's probably way better for you than those carbonated beverages or sports drinks. Of course, not as good as juice, but you know, let's face it, we're all having to cut back right now. The pie only has 3 ingredients: a package of Kool-Aid, a 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk, and you do have to have sweetened condensed. You cannot use evaporated milk. The sugar is in there and it's thicker, it's cooked down. We've talked about sweetened condensed milk before, and the reason why it works in desserts is because it's already cooked. And you need an 8-ounce tub of whipped topping. Store brands are fine in this. And you can actually make this for $4 to $5, even with a crust, which is pretty cheap. You can get this for anywhere from 88 cents to $1 if you do store brands. You can get the milk for $1, and the Kool-Aid is about a quarter a package, I think. I think it's only about 25 cents. I got this crust for $1.29. You can get them on sale for as little as $1. So watch for those sales. Anyway, this is super simple. We're just gonna dump our sweetened condensed milk in a bowl, and you can see how thick this is. That's because it's already cooked, and that's why I said evaporated milk won't work. There is another variety of this where you can use cream cheese to make a Kool-Aid pie. Instead of the sweetened condensed milk, you would use an 8-ounce package of cream cheese and 1 cup of regular sugar instead of this. And then you need the tub of whipped topping. And then we're going to add our Kool-Aid packet in here. You know, Kool-Aid is good for more than drinks and pies. You can make slushies out of it. You can make popsicles out of it. You can shave ice and use it for snow cream syrup. I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff you can do with Kool-Aid. And if you're trying to do stuff cheap, Kool-Aid is one of those things you need to stick in your pantry. Now we're going to mix this up until it is well combined. You can also, if you don't want to do a pie out of this, you could use vanilla wafers and put it in dessert cups. You know, just put a couple vanilla wafers maybe in the bottom of it and do it in a dessert cup. Or you could just crumble up vanilla wafers or graham crackers and put those in the bottom of a dessert cup and do a couple layers of this if you wanted to do it in little cups. And I'm using cherry here, but you can use any flavor. I'm actually using black cherry. And I have one over here that's already been in the refrigerator that's orange. You do want to put this in the refrigerator for a couple of hours after you put it in your pie crust or your dessert cups. Alright, that looks pretty good. You want to make sure you mix this up really well, because you just want to fold your whipped topping here. And notice I say whipped topping, not whipped cream, but you know, if you're using Kool-Aid to flavor it with, this is not the world's healthiest recipe. It's probably the world's easiest pie and probably close to the world's cheapest pie. You can save a little bit of this out to garnish the top of the pie with if you want to, because it fills it up pretty full. So, you know, you could save a half cup of it maybe to dollop on top of it if you wanted to. And now we want to kind of stir gently and just keep sort of folding this in until the white streaks all go away. This is a good recipe for kind of any summertime gathering for sure, because it's cool and it's easy and it doesn't heat up the house. And, you know, like I said, you can do it literally in any flavor. Kool-Aid flavors are endless. But it's a good recipe to let the kids make. And you just kind of keep folding it. It does take a minute to get the whipped topping mixed in and get all the white streaks out. But you don't really want to do this with a mixer because you'll flatten out your whipped topping and then your pie won't set up. So just fold it. And if you've got a few light colored streaks, it really isn't going to hurt anything. It'll add a little color variation in your pie, but you want to have it pretty well mixed up. Especially if you let the kids make it, you know, and they get tired of mixing and don't want to mix it anymore. It's not going to destroy it if it's not perfectly blended. All right, that looks pretty good. So it's mixed up, and now all you got to do is either divide it up in dessert cups or put it in a pie shell. And then you want to put it in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours to let it set up. You know, if you buy the pre-made pie shells, it's very easy to take it somewhere. I don't know if you've ever bought these before or not, but if you haven't, you turn this upside down and it makes a lid for your pie. So don't throw that away. That's your pie lid if you're going to take it somewhere. Which is pretty convenient. And if you were going to take something to somebody else's cookout or something, you might want to get one of these little pre-made pie crusts, and that way you don't have to worry about picking up your pie plate or making sure it's all eaten before you leave to go home. You know, a lot of times we'll go places and visit and people will leave at different times. Well, you don't want to go snatch your pie off of the table at a cookout when there's still people there eating. And if you do this, you don't have to worry about it. You can just leave it. And just spread it out kind of in the pan. You can do it with like a little design or something if you want to. Or you could take out a butter knife and do it perfectly smooth. I just kind of swirl it around and make it look actually a little bit messy. A few little peaks on it, I think, add a little, I don't know, something to look at. This spoon here is not doing peaks very well. But, you know, just move it around so it's a little bit rough. And put the cover on it, put it in the fridge, like I said, for a couple hours. Probably the world's easiest pie. You snap that on there. And take it for a dessert next time you go somewhere. Now, I did an orange one because I had a little bag of oranges, some little tangerines, and I thought it would be cute to garnish this with whipped cream and a little piece of fruit if you have it. I mean, just to add something to it. And certainly kids like anything with a little whipped cream on top of it. That's why I said you could save a little out of your tub there, your whipped topping, if you wanted to add to it. And I am not going to try this on this whole pie, because if I do, I will mess it up, and then I will not be able to get pictures to go in the video. So I'm going to take a piece out of here and garnish it. But you could garnish the whole pie with whipped topping and fruit if you wanted to. And you could put some of the stuff out of the tub in a bag and pipe it on, or just dollop it on. Or you could mix up some fresh cream. And I didn't get anything to get this out with. Something to remove the pie from the pan with usually does help. Just trying to cut the crust without cutting through the pan. These little pans are kind of thin. There we go. And you can see it does set up and gets firm and holds its shape and everything like it's supposed to, like a pie. You can cut it and serve it and it holds its shape. There, well, it worked. And then maybe just stick a little piece of fruit in the top. And you can make your basic Kool-Aid pie a little bit fancy, and people won't know you used Kool-Aid in it. They'll try to figure out how you got that fantastic orange flavor. And Kool-Aid really does have a lot of flavor in it. Now, you know, it is not a natural, healthy fruit thing, but it's fun. And kids like doing it, and it's certainly healthier than a lot of other stuff that we consume. So if you need a really fast dessert that's really easy, the kids can help make, you can carry it somewhere and it tastes good, this is it. It's cheap and literally just takes a minute. And you can decorate it up fancy. So buy some Kool-Aid and save some money. Before we go, I want to leave you with John 16:22. And ye now therefore have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart shall rejoice, and your joy no man taketh from you. As Christians, our joy should be in the Lord and not in the circumstances of the world. And as Christians, we need to share that joy with the world now more than ever. We cannot let current circumstances where a great many people are experiencing loss, a great many people have need, great need, and certainly our wants are not being met in the way that they were before. But as Christians, none of that should affect our joy. It shouldn't matter if people attack us or, I mean, no act of man. It says, no man taketh from you. So our joy should not be determined by the acts of man, whether it's a personal attack or this worldwide thing that's going on now. Our joy is in a God who is all-knowing, all-powerful, lives forever, and loves us so much that he came to earth and died for us. And he has promised that he will return for us. And our joy and our everlasting peace is in that. So while this is all going on, now we have a chance to show the world what true joy is and what true peace is, and let them see God in us. So no matter what happens, don't let man take your joy from you. It comes from the Lord. And use these circumstances to show the world how great your Lord is. Remember to take care of each other, check on each other, love each other, show each other God. Let them see who he is in you. If you haven't already, I want to ask you to please click like and subscribe before you leave. And until next time, remember to put God first.